he's
running in collision.
Intercepting, That's
right. Well, he's great at that.
He's no dummy. That's where he made all his money. I'll give him credit for that.
But the collision tackling has been, kind of an epidemic around the league. But what I see is I would like them to change their mentality. I think bigger is better. I think that they get bigger and more physical, that you got a chance to win in the playoffs. You can't live off of blitzing when you get against experienced quarterbacks in championship games. I look at all those guys, supposedly great defenses. When they played in championship games, they caused 2 turnovers in 5 championship games that they lost. That's not going to get it. I think you need dominant people up front, a good pass rusher from each side. You got one in Trent Cole. Go get a dominant pass rusher for that other side. And then, of course, they do need help. They need a safety. In fact, they need a couple of them, pass me.
There's been a lot of discussion about all of the injuries that were sustained throughout the season.
Everybody
and
has
the
injuries.
cumulative effect of those injuries.
If you're going to proclaim at the beginning of the season you have the best roster in the NFL, that encompasses the entire roster, and that's your depth. So, you can't has there been a single team in the NFL that's made it through the whole year without
injuries?
Well,
and that's exactly where I was
one
headed.
still manages to win the Super Bowl every year.
That's where I was headed. I was talking about all of the different injuries that have encompassed the team throughout the course of the season.
When your franchise quarterback goes down, you can then say, okay, the season's done.
Right.
But come on.
Yeah. Okay,
Stuart Bradley is
not
a Hall of Fame linebacker just yet.
The question that I was leading to was about depth, whether or not the team needs to increase its depth so that when those injuries, which are predictable, occur, that they have that backup that can take that position and play it as the starter.
They've had rosters in the past that could shepherd them through times like this. In 2003, they went on a 9-game winning streak and started it with a bunch of backups playing defense.
The Andrews sisters, who we like to refer to them as, killed them in terms of depth. I mean, they really did. Those are 2 guys who you were counting on, and they weren't there at all the entire year. So, those are 2 guys that just killed them along the offensive line.
I want to see them go back to being physical. I think that you run the football, you're able to put pressure on the quarterback, that they need to run the ball more. I think that it's got to be a mentality. I don't know that's going to happen.
You don't know.
But I think you have to have a mentality where if you can run the football on people, I don't think you have to be as good all the time. I think that there's some times when you can, with the balance, it allows you to win some games that maybe you shouldn't win.
And that's leading back to the injuries with the running game with Brian Westbrook. We saw what an impact it had when he was not in that lineup.
They were better without him.
They were better without him. They won 6 games when he wasn't there. They had LaShawn McCoy and Leonard this year because he was, let's be honest, once running backs hit 30, he's on the downside.
Yeah, he's been banged up pretty good.
They brought in a great fullback. Leonard Weaver was terrific, and I don't know. LaShawn McCoy looks to me like obviously he's going to be a player, but it's Andy Reid. He does not want to run the ball.
Then
if you're more
shall I ask the question? Is it time for Andy?
Yes.
It's a moot question. It's a moot question.
Yes, I know it's a moot question, but people at home are wondering it too. So might as well ask it.
He just got an extension, and I think that there's certain things, as I said, that Andy does very well. Like he can put the team, and I think that they prepare for each game and they do a good job of that and everything. But the whole structure of the thing, I think that they're off, and that's why I don't see them winning a championship with the way that he does things.
So you don't see a championship in the future, like in the short-term future with the Philadelphia Eagles?
No, not unless they got to change something drastically. Because I see the Cowboys, they're clearly a better team. You've got the Redskins now, they went and got a football coach now, and he's going to be running. He's going to be running things. So I expect them. They got some talent down there. I expect them to be better next year. Even the Giants, I expect them to improve.
Come back.
They'll come back. Yeah. So it's going to be a tough division, and you got Dallas there. They got to get more physical. You got to get more physical with running the ball.
He's going to put that on a bumper sticker.
And getting pressure on the quarterback.
Well, who's going to be the next star on this team? You take a look at this
He's already
young talent.
Deshaun Jackson is already here.
But making him a star will also make him a media target, right?
Well, he's as much as I don't quite know how to use the word target.
I think he will. His personality, yes.
You know how.
Yeah.
Well, there's being a Terrell Owens target, and then there's being a guy who tweets about
but Terrell Owens
certain
put
body
the
parts
bullseye on himself.
He can't threaten to sting their ass with Dallas and then not show up in the game.
Right. Yeah.
You can be a talent like that, but you must back it up.
Yeah, they all need to zip it.
Yeah, he hasn't. I don't want him to zip it because I think that he feeds off of that. But they've got to figure out a way. And gee, I've heard you say this 1,000 times. In 3 games, you can't figure out a way. That's what drives me crazy about Andy Reid. You can't figure out a way to get your best player loose. That's impossible.
Yeah.
Good coaches do that.
He was loose in that
well,
second game.
yeah, in the
against
second,
Dallas.
and
was
he got
loose.
missed.
I mean, let's face it.
But they got to be
comes back to what
consistent,
we
though.
were-
But they got to be consistent where you can't let a guy just take him out of the game.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but they got to do a better job there.
We're going round and round here. The bottom line is they went 11-5 this year and didn't win a single game where going into it you said to yourself, I'd be surprised if they won this game.
Right.
And that, I don't quite know what that says. I mean, we didn't really learn very much about them this year. I mean, there have been, and they'll reveal all that when they draft who they draft and sign who they sign in free agency. But in that way, it's been a different kind of year. Like, I don't feel like we know anything more about them now than we did at the beginning of the season. They won every game. They won a bunch of games they were supposed to win.
We didn't expect the defense to be this brutal. I don't think we expected it to be this bad.
All right. On that note, we're going to have to say that's where we stop this conversation. Mike Sealski and Rhea Hughes,
On an
great to have you
inscrutable note.
here.
I like it.
On that inscrutable note, thank you very much, Gary Cobb. Great to have you back with us. Most importantly, though, we're glad that you could join us for this half-hour discussion of It's Your Call. We hope that we see you the next time here on the Comcast Network.